Good morning, everybody. Guess who's here? Paul. Paul's Path. What could I possibly talk about now that we've gone through all 12 steps? Is there anything left? Right? Or we just repeat them over again? What do you think? Well, what we're going to do, we're going to do some work on some stuff that we didn't do in the first 12 steps. And we're going to start with the little 12 and 12, which is something they wrote 15 years later when they had a lot more insight into the disease. And actually in this book, it does kind of say that fear is the number one offender. It says it on page 70 that the chief activator of our character defects is self-centered fear, primarily fear we're not going to get something we demand or we're going to lose something we possess. Keeps us in constant turmoil. The answer is to move out from ourselves towards God and towards others. Okay? That's the 12 and 12. So what we're going to do is I'll highlight a couple of things on step 1. And then, well, first I'll read something in the big book under the doctors, what the doctor said. I never ever told you guys what the doctor said. So if somebody tells you to don't drink, just don't drink no matter what, and you're at a meeting, they say, don't drink no matter what and keep coming back. That's a lazy statement. I'll tell you what a team of doctors that work with alcoholics said, and it's in the book. It says, it has never been by any treatment with which we are familiar permanently eradicated. The only relief we have to suggest to these alcoholics is entire abstinence. Abstinence, just don't drink. This immediately precipitates us into a seething cauldron of debate. Much has been written pro and con, but among physicians, the general opinion of all these doctors seems to be that most chronic alcoholics are doomed. If you're a chronic alcoholic and you're going around trying not to drink, you're doomed. Okay? So just don't drink no matter what could even possibly kill you. Because you won't work spiritual principles if it's just about don't drink no matter what. Why would I do any work? When I can just if my problem is the allergy, if my problem is what happens to me when I start drinking, then the answer's got to be just don't drink. And nowhere in this big book, anywhere in this big book, does it say do not drink. It says the opposite. It says if you're not convinced you're an alcoholic, try some controlled drinking and try it again. And when you're convinced, come see us. We got a program for you. That's all it says about not drinking. You think in a book 164 pages of Alcoholics Anonymous, you would find one sentence that says don't drink alcohol? Nowhere does it say it. It talks about spiritual principles. It talks about failing to enlarge your spiritual life. It talks about this is not an overnight matter. It's got to continue for a lifetime. It talks about letting up on the spiritual program of action. It doesn't say anything about don't drink. Now, we're going to do a little step 1 stuff. Okay? This is the step 1 and 12 and 12, right? So, who cares to admit complete defeat? Practically no one. Definitely not an alcoholic. Of course, every natural instinct cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. We don't have instincts in us to be powerless. We have instincts in us to survive, you know. It is truly awful to admit that, glass in hand, we have warped our minds into such an obsession for destructive drinking that only an act of providence can remove it from us. So only God can remove that. Only a higher power, only working the steps can remove that from us, you know. Then it says, but upon entering AA, and I'm going to jump, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but upon entering AA, we soon take quite another view of this absolute humiliation. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps toward liberation and strength. Our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turn out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. We know that little good can come to an alcoholic who joins AA unless he has first accepted his devastation, weakness, and all its consequences. You got to know what an alcoholic is. I'll show you. I'll go right to the back. Under the lash of alcoholism, knowing that you think you're an alcoholic is not step 1. It says under the lash of alcoholism, we are driven to AA. We go to AA, and there we discover. Step 1, there we discover the fatal nature of our situation. Then and only then do we become as open-minded to conviction and as willing to listen as the dying can be. We stand ready to do anything which will lift the merciless obsession from us. Not merciless allergy. The obsession precedes. The obsession is a thought that precedes the relapse into the first drink. The book says, for obviously, this is the crux of our problem, you know. This book is all about lifting the obsession. We're restless, we're irritable, we're discontented. Okay? We need a drink. We remember the ease and comfort that comes at once with taking a few drinks. We remember that since we were 13. You know what we don't remember with sufficient force? Even a week or a month ago? Humiliation in the suffering. I've been to jail. Worst thing ever happened to me was to go to jail. I cannot tell you how many times I went to jail. But I can remember when me and my friend, won't say his name, were drinking at 12 years old. I knew exactly how I felt. And I'll never forget that ease and comfort, man. And I could ask this girl, I'm not going to say her name, to dance, and she said no, and I didn't care. Alcohol was going to be my friend for a long time. And then, man, it turned on me. Did it turn on me? I lost my wife, my kid, my job. I almost lost my life. Man. Anyway, thank God we're sober today. So what else does it say? It says, we first challenged to admit defeat. Most of us revolted. We had approached AA expecting to be taught self-confidence. That's what I did. Then we had been told that so far as alcohol is concerned, self-confidence was no good whatever. In fact, it was a total liability. Our sponsors declared that we were the victims of a mental obsession so subtly powerful that no amount of willpower could break it. There was, they said, no such thing as the personal conquest of this compulsion by the unaided will. Right? Relentless, deepening our dilemma, our sponsors pointed out, increasing sensitive to alcohol, the allergy. They called it the tyrant alcohol wielded a double-edged sword over us. First, we were smitten by an insane urge that condemned us to go on drinking, and then by an allergy of the body that ensured we would ultimately destroy ourselves in the process. We got no chance. The only chance is spiritual principles. And what do you got to do first? You better learn the fatal nature of your disease. You better understand you're going to drink no matter what because of the mental obsession. No amount of willpower will help you just not drink no matter what. You got to understand that. And yeah, you got an allergy. But we can't do anything about the allergy. Doctors may someday accomplish it, turn an alcoholic into a normal drinker, but he hasn't done so yet. We do all the work on the obsession. Restless, irritable, discontent. You work spiritual programs, you won't be restless, irritable, and discontent. You'll be thinking about others, and you'll be working good, so therefore you'll be thinking good, then you'll be feeling good, and you won't feel like taking a drink. You'll no longer require a drink. You'll no longer be interested in a drink. That's what the program does for you. But if I don't keep working these spiritual programs, I'm going to get restless, irritable, discontent, afraid, resentful, especially afraid of the future, and I'm going to have to take a drink. I need something. I either need a drink or Alcoholics Anonymous, and now that the drinking is going to kill me, I got one option. Alcoholics Anonymous. But there's no door number 3. There's insanity or death, life on a spiritual basis. Said it many times. Insanity or death or life on a spiritual basis. There is no third option. Anyway, anybody that's new, or even if you're just struggling, or anybody watching, I hope you got something out of that. And I'm on TikTok too, so check me out on TikTok. I think it's at Paul Jessome, yeah, at Paul Jessome. So PaulJessome, no spaces. Check me out at TikTok. If you guys want to donate, I'm only doing 14 hours a day. So if you want to throw a few bucks in the tip jar, I got a Cash App on there. I got a like a Zelle, and just a couple. Buy me a coffee. You got buy me a coffee on there. And because I'm trying to save lives, but I got to sustain myself to keep doing what I do. I got 28 sponsees. I do videos every day, as you can see, and and I busted my shoulder, so I can't work. But I'm not complaining. People are donating, but I really appreciate if you got anything out of these videos at all, or a loved one did, throw a couple bucks in the tip jar. Cash App or Zelle, or I don't even know what I got on there. Buy me a coffee. You PayPal me, whatever. And if you can't do it, if you don't have the money, do not do it. But I hope you got something out of this, because I'm in it to help people save their own lives. I'm definitely not doing this for money. I used to have a lot of money. Trust me, it did not serve me too good. It almost killed me. Anyway, love y'all. We'll talk tomorrow. That was step 1. We're going to be doing the 12 and 12 now. You guys better tune in tomorrow. Step 2 is very exciting. All right, talk to you later.